We are an architect studio based in Santiago that has worked in Chile and abroad for several public and private clients. I have been a professor of architecture workshops and directed degree projects in the main faculties of architecture in Chile, in addition to having been guest professor and lecturer abroad. We aspire to a work of reflection, aesthetics, creative and very emotional chart, with works which combine construct reason with compositional reason. Architecture made for man, not for architects. An architect which awakens the necessary emotions due to its simplicity, its austerity, its contemporary. In short, an experiential and essential architecture of ideas, light and space. Light used as the most important material in architecture. Our works are boxes of light. Boxes aim to reflect light, control it, so as to obtain an architectural luminosity which awakens the senses. Whatever the materiality of the work, there is an intention to represent that material as a whole. We want to skirt the limits between architecture and sculpture, aspire to abstraction and consider composition one of the keys of architecture. Value the relations between architecture and nature, seeing how architecture tries to acknowledge the qualities of location, soil, water, color, gradient, and sky. How through this relation can create spaces for the senses, for the present and for remembrance. The approach to project leads inevitable to the meeting between the built work and its environment. We understand each building as part of a whole. The correct use of local resource, coupled with technical contribution of the buildings, allows a construction sustainable over time. The project for the new museum and the historic museum renovation was an order for the General Director Alejandro Bernales, who dies early during the project phase. The idea of the Chilean policy consists in the challenge to get the expansion of the old museum, and the new museum highlights the historical value. A first consideration is to hallow and redesign the interior of the historic building, preserving the facades and getting a new spatial interior, paintings white all the facades and interiors, and getting the connectivity between the new and the renovation and the intervention. A second action is the architectonic idea to cave and put buildings in several levels underground. Then we obtain the double purpose to not touch the park and the trees of the site and to highlight the historic building that now reflects the facades in two big water mirrors to Antonio Varas Avenue, the principal avenue of the building. The result is a building that gets the most spaces underground, but getting natural light for interiors, patios, and cracks that permits a path also for the exterior. All the facades of the new volumes are resolved with concrete incorporating titanium dioxide and a system of phenolic molds with 5-inch wide planks. The white walls, highlighted in the abstract between the intense green of the trees and the green roofs of the buildings. The program also provides the showrooms of museums, the Cultural Center's administrative office, an underground parking building, and a theater with a capacity for 740 people, with boxes allowing the orchestra and the choir of the police playing along. The theater is resolved entire in cedar wood, and the waving roofing permits an acoustic experience and an excellent vision. In the same level is the cafeteria and the restaurant, with an expansion to exterior terraces that permits good ventilation and natural lighting. There are some ideas and considerations permanent in our works, and also in this project. One of those is the use of the habitable underground. We call it the sixth facade. Penetrate the underground spaces is a unique possibility of light and natural ventilation, boring and open to the underground and enable a new landscape which highlights the compressed presence of near walls as a door to the sky. As in all our works, also we insist in other concepts like, first, the use of the light as the main material. The intercropping, the program is resolved mainly in the section, permitting a spatial interplay.